This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense here in the CZ Studios at the Patriot Mobile Command Center Ranch begins right now on a garbage day. It's Wednesday. That makes it a garbage day. Yeah, garbage days are always fun. Wait till some news out there is just going to be too much fun to cover with our guest Ryan Petty today. We'll get to that in just a few minutes because it's going to be fun to talk about. Gavin Newsom in particular, the Brady campaign at it. Oh, good heavens, it never ends. National Rifle Association presenting this program to you today and every day. And we are live on Facebook.com/Armed American Radio, Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Greg, I'll let you do your shtick there and tell people where to participate and all that fun stuff, where else they can watch us. And we'll get to Ryan Petty and get started.
Yeah, sure. Other places you can watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over at X, we're at AAR Mark. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, and then select your watch live or listen live options. In order to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
And it's fun. You should do that. The chat is always a lot of fun. Great group of people over there. Ryan Petty, Parkland Dad, welcome in, brother. How are you today, my friend?
Mark, I'm doing well. It's great to be here with you today.
Sound like you're in the room with me, man. Gotta love that new technology, right? Good heavens.
The voice is coming from inside the house.
No, it's not. It's coming from inside my head. That's how close you sound. Let's get started with Gavin Newsom, just because, you know, when I look at the hate-filled Democrats, you know, this country was on the precipice during the Obama years and the Biden years, and by that I mean there was a real threat of political violence in this country. And I'm not talking about just the left out there, but pushing the right to try to act. And I believe it was comedian Tim Young, Tim Runs His Mouth, Tim Runs His Mouth on Twitter if you want to follow him, folks. He's amazing. Who made it very clear on this show. He said the left should be very pleased that the right has not taken their bait. And the right likely will not take their bait. But boy, I'll tell you, Ryan, they're pushing harder now than ever. And we're, 6 months, 7 months, beginning of 8 months into a Trump administration, a second term. Newsom says California to draw congressional maps to end Trump presidency. And he's taunting Trump on Twitter. Now, this guy's a real gonad. But the fact is that the Democrats support him in this effort. While they accuse Texas of doing all this, they've already done it, gerrymandered in states across the country that they control. They're, again, as you've pointed out many times, they are guilty of everything that they are accusing the other side of doing. And here you've got Gavin Newsom out there saying the quiet part out loud. Pritzker just yesterday saying the quiet part out loud. And when confronted with their own maps in their own states, they look right at that camera at midnight and tell you the sun is shining. Just lying to your face. What Gavin Newsom is talking about. And here's the tweet that he put out earlier today, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Taco Trump, as many call him. It was in all caps, intentional. He was trolling Trump. Missed the deadline. California will now draw new, more beautiful maps. They will be historic as they will end the Trump presidency. And in parentheses, Dems take back the House. So when you hear stuff like this coming from the Democrats, who have gotten so low to a point, Ryan, that they are willing to literally blow up their own country, metaphorically speaking, at least for now. What does it tell you? And we can easily take that to guns. We already know what they want to do with guns. If they're willing to do this to the country, do you really believe anything they tell you about them believing in the Second Amendment? Gavin Newsom, we just recently talked about him last week as well, receiving the SIG on a podcast that he can't even take home because of his own laws, even though he supposedly supports the Second Amendment. What does this tell you about this particular party?
Well, it tells me a couple of things. We've talked about these a number of times. Number one, the left will never quit. I have to remind everyone that they're never going to stop. So the price of freedom is vigilance, and that means we're going to have to be vigilant every single day because they are not going to stop. Number two, this is a party that projects onto its opponents what it's actually doing. So when they get up in arms about Texas and call it gerrymandering, rest assured that they've done this everywhere that they control the legislature or the commissions or the states. California is incredibly gerrymandered. When you look at a map, an electoral map of California, it's red except for a few of the insane places in California that vote consistently Democrat. But the representation in Congress and in the state legislature, and certainly, recently in the governor's mansion, it doesn't reflect the number or amount of conservatives and Republicans in that state. So they've gerrymandered a one-party rule. They've done it in Illinois. They've done it in New York. So the third thing I'll remind folks is when they say something, they're projecting, but when they say something, believe them.
Yeah,
so
you gotta
they
take them at their
have
word.
every intention of creating an electoral environment that favors Democrats and puts them in perpetual power. They thought they would do that through illegal immigration. Donald Trump's thrown a wrench in that, and now they're going to come at it through the electoral map process.
And let's not leave James Carville's comments out of this last week either, guys. When James Carville came out and said if the Democrats can pull off a trifecta in 2028, they need to do three things immediately. Bring Puerto Rico in as a state, give statehood to D.C. He did not mention reopening the borders. I don't even think he'd go that far because Trump will have that locked down to a point. I don't know that they understand Americans have had enough of that. So we moved on to that. So he's talking about literally, and then, of course, packing the Supreme Court with 13 justices, adding an additional 4 justices, to give them complete, total power. And all they need to do is do that one time. So you're correct. When they say it, believe it, because they will try to do it. But has Gavin Newsom, what he wants to do is redraw California to wipe out 5 GOP-held seats in California. He's flat out telling you that. We're going to wipe it out. We're going to get rid of Republican representation. These are fighting words, Ryan.
Well, they should be.
These are fighting words. These are physical fighting words. They are a call to action. But this kind of nonsense can lead to very serious trouble in this country. And I'm not going to sit here and be quiet about it any longer because this is what the Democrats have been pushing for years. And Tim was right. The Democrats and the left got to be really careful here.
This is all part of their plan to have electoral dominance. They'll do it any way they can, but if they can attack the electoral process through gerrymandering and making sure that they have control of the legislature, Congress, which, by the way, Congress doesn't do a whole lot. Let's be honest, they haven't for decades. Everything's been left to the executive and executive authority and executive power.
Sadly,
which is sad because that's not the way the founders intended. They intended for us to have a functional Congress, but they also didn't think the Congress needed to do a whole lot, as evidenced by how difficult it is to pass a law. But the left is never content with the way things are. This is a religion to them. Politics is a religion. They believe that they can create a utopian society on Earth, and that's their push. That's their end game. If you listen to Dr. James Lindsay, he's laid out this. He's laid it bare because he used to be a member of the left. He knows what the game plan is. And this is what they want to do. And it's all about control. Yeah. It's all about telling you and me how to live. That's what they want. They do not believe in core American principles of freedom, autonomy, individualism. They believe in the collective, the group, and government regulating every aspect of our lives.
So do you believe I'm out of line if I were to say to Gavin Newsom on a live microphone right now on a national radio show, hey, Gavin, myself and millions like me will never, ever live under your thumb, ever. We will not do it. I will not do it. I will not live. I couldn't live in California the way it is today. I'll be damned if I'm going to live under a gerrymandered nation brought to us by the likes of James Carville and Gavin Newsom simply because their ideas suck. And if they can't win it at the ballot box, they're going to try to take it. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, what Gavin Newsom and what James Carville, Corporal Q-Ball are talking about is a coup to take down this government as it exists today and remake it in whatever it is they want to cement permanent political power and total control, all while calling you Nazis and fascists and Donald Trump totalitarian. It's very scary. But when we come back, I want to go back to some comments from some other Democrats in California, and here's why you need to pay very careful attention to what's going on in California. They control everything in California, everything. And if they want to do it, they will do it. It's that simple. And they've made it clear that's what they're going to do. I'll tell you just how clear they've made it when we come back. And then I want to talk about sorority girls for a few minutes, because that's all over the place. And I absolutely love this story. I witnessed it firsthand just the other day in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll be back with Ryan Petty, Parkland Dad, right after this. We're live. The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back. I've got a very cool Patriot Mobile hat on that I'm going to be wearing. I love this thing. I've got to keep it away from my wife and my daughter. They love this hat. They're trying to steal it from me. So I guess, the fix for that is just get a couple more of them, so they leave mine alone. But in the meantime, I'm having to keep it out here in the studio because every time I take it in the house, they want to steal it. PatriotMobile.com is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Patriot Mobile phone. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Support the businesses that show up at every single major and, I would say, minor state organizations, local cities, not just states, but drilling all the way down the rabbit hole into cities and towns. They're everywhere in support of your gun rights. That's their mission at Patriot Mobile, is supporting your constitutional rights. And not only do they support, they put money at it. So when you pay for your cell phone service, which you have anyway, you're paying for it anyway, why not give it to Patriot Mobile and support your gun rights in the process? It doesn't cost you any more. You're not making a $50 extra donation to support your gun rights. You're just paying for your phone bill. And a great price and amazing service. So make sure to check them out. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. They'll give you a $500 credit if you still owe money on your phones. You switch 4 phones over. Guess what? $2,000 credit that's going to come off your bills. You're not going to pay a cell phone bill for a long time. So they make it easy to do, and it's all U.S.-based customer service. And you can find PatriotMobile.com at Armed American Radio. Click on that link, and it'll take you right where you need to be, or you can type it in any browser window, whatever you choose. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. And support the businesses that support this program and support your gun rights. And you can find all of our great partners, all of them. We'll talk about more of them throughout the hour at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Ryan Petty, welcome back. You want to put an exclamation point on what we were talking about with the Democrats and the warnings we just gave out before I move on to sorority girls, because this is a great story.
Now, look, it's important to let, especially the folks in Texas, there are states like Florida where Governor DeSantis has called for a second census. I think President Trump is considering this, or has also made similar calls. It's time to fight fire with fire. Gone are the days when conservatives could just hide behind the idea that we want limited government, and we want conservative values and principles, and we're not going to use the hand of government or the tools that are available in the Constitution and in current statute to sort of sit by and be spectators for the left as it tries to destroy the country. So what we need are leaders like President Trump, like Governor DeSantis, Governor of Texas Abbott is doing good work there too. We've got to fight fire with fire. That means drawing fair districts. They'll call it gerrymandering. Don't listen to them. Don't allow them to control the narrative. It is the right thing. And we need a census that counts only citizens of the United States. Citizens should matter in electing our government, not people that are here visiting or people that are here illegally. So let's get those things done, and let's protect our country from the transformative change that President Obama promised years ago.
The fundamental change of America begins. The fundamental transformation of America begins right now, he said in that inaugural speech. What I wanted to mention before we move on is exactly how serious the Democrats in California are. Spokesperson for California State Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas confirmed to ABC News that the state legislature is aiming to release new draft maps on Friday. And Newsom is going to be part of a press conference with what he called later this week, powerful Democrats, but gave no further details. They're going to move in California, ladies and gentlemen, and they're not going to stop. As Ryan, as you have eloquently said, they're just simply not going to stop. Let's move on to something more fun, because this is so in the face of the woke left, and they just don't know what to do. Have you seen the viral videos all over social media of the sorority girls doing their Pledge Week videos? Highly choreographed, super high quality. Have you seen any of these videos that are making the rounds and going viral and crazy right now?
I haven't, Mark. My wife has the firewall at our home tightly controlled, so I probably didn't see any of that.
So you can't see the viral sorority girl videos doing their dances and all that stuff?
I haven't gone
Well,
searching
we,
for
we
it.
need
So
to have a
no, I
chat
haven't
with we
seen
need
it.
to have a chat with mom here soon. So okay, you know, but the left is going nuts because they're where's the diversity in the sorority? Now these kids were not allowed to do this stuff in the past. They were under threat from universities. Sororities and fraternities were under threat. DEI, woke nonsense, and it stifled them. Not anymore. They are out. And I met a bunch of them, Ryan. You and I had this conversation. I had great conversations with some of these sorority girls that were coming in and talked to them for a couple hours at a time. And they're just, they're free. They feel like a release has been brought on them, that they're able to go back and have fun and do the things that they were able to do in the past. And sadly, part of a generation of students lost all of that. Now, I don't have the tape. I wish I did. Megyn Kelly was talking about it earlier today. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, it is so fun to watch the woke left go crazy. What's left of the DEI swamp attacking. These are the same people attacking Sydney Sweeney, et cetera. All part of the hate-fueled anti-gun left that just cannot stand that America is waking up, looking over its shoulder and going, what the hell just happened? It's just more proof positive to me that the country is roaring back, Ryan, and I feel real good about it. Have at it, girls. Have a blast and keep ticking them off as far as I'm concerned. Put more out every single day, Ryan.
Yeah, 100%. Look, we lost probably a generation of students to social media and cancel culture. There's a whole group of kids that are out there now that are just almost dysfunctional, unable to have a conversation with an adult, unable to shake an adult's hand, unable to go get a job, unable to leave their parents, their parents' homes when they become of age, and do the things that we all used to take for granted and did. You and I've talked about this before, Mark. I couldn't wait to get my driver's license. Driver's license meant freedom. It meant an opportunity for get out of the house and go see my friends, because you didn't have a cell phone that you were glued to 24 hours a day, and you didn't have 16 different apps that you could communicate with friends. You had to go see them or call them on the phone. And so
you mean physical
we
contact?
lost a generation.
You went out and played with your friends?
We did.
You threw
Mark.
dirt clods at each other and had BB gun fights like other kids used to do. You used to set up the ramps with a cinder block and piece of plywood, and sometimes you'd fall down and scrape your knee and your chin. Those days?
Yeah. I remember. Absolutely, Mark. And it's hard to believe that in the day, in the day and age of scheduled play dates and safety equipment, that kids can't go outside without airbag helmets and everything else that they've got to have now. But and other parents,
I got the visual.
Other parents, seriously, other parents judging how they're parenting. It used to be different. That. I'm excited to hear that there are kids that are rejecting all that social media nonsense and the cancel culture and living their lives.
It was so refreshing. It was extremely refreshing talking to these group of kids that I had an opportunity to meet with over the past few days. It was so refreshing. America's coming back, ladies and gentlemen, and the left hates it. We'll be right back. 2 more segments with Ryan. Brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The show is being presented by the National Rifle Association, Monday through Friday's Daily Defense, and of course, Sunday's Monstercast. And we really need your help here. We need you to help us build, I'm going to say rebuild, because a lot of people left the National Rifle Association over the Wayne LaPierre corruption debacle and all of that nonsense. Folks, it's time to come back. Come back to the National Rifle Association. It is a brand new organization being run by great people. I know them. I've been working closely with them, and they are doing all of the right things. They understand, just like I do and like you may do as well. They understand that there was a lot of problems in the past because of the current, or I shouldn't say the current, but the past makeup of management. Let me put it that way. I'm trying to be nice here. But those people are gone, and the new management and reformers are in control, and the new elections, and the NRA is doing everything right. Please, won't you come back and join us? It's only $35 for a one-year membership. I don't care if you donate any more money. Doesn't matter to me. I just want your name on that list. I want you holding a National Rifle Association card. We need you to be a member. And as tough as I was on the NRA management over the last several years, never once did I say abandon the NRA. Not one time. In fact, it was just the opposite. No matter what was happening, you still needed to be a member of the NRA because that's how we elicit change at the NRA, and it worked. Sadly, in the meantime, they lost a couple million members, and we need to get back to those numbers. They are doing the right things. We're giving you a range bag to sign up for a 1-year or 3-year membership. We're giving you a pair of 10x42 binoculars if you sign up for a 5-year membership or a life membership. When they are gone, they are gone. They have allocated some more to us, but they're moving quickly, okay? Then, when they're all gone, and the NRA will tell me there's no more, one of you will win. Every one of you who use the AAR promo code, one of you will win a second range bag, a different range bag, loaded with cool swag from Armed American Radio, other partners. So you're going to see stuff in there from Car Arms. You'll see stuff in there from Crossbreed. You'll see stuff in there from Armed American Radio. Heaven's Harvest is, I think, donating like a dozen meal kits. Great stuff. So it's going to be a worthy deal, and it's a worthy cause all the way around. Please support us. Easy to do. NRA.org/AAR, or you can just go right to my website where you'll find all of our great partners, including this cool shirt I'm wearing here, budsgunshop.com. They have everything you need. They are exclusive, our AAR exclusive online retailer, serving close to 5 million, it's probably over 5 million people at this point. They are huge. Prices are great. They're constantly running specials. Buy a gun, don't like it, you've got 30 days. They will work with you. budsgunshop.com. Take advantage of all of these great partners and help support Armed American Radio and the firearms industry, which is hurting right now. It truly is. This is the way we can give back, by supporting all of these great organizations. You can find all of our partners at armedamericanradio.com or .org. Take your pick. Ryan Petty, welcome back. I was talking with Greg briefly during the break. Megyn Kelly can get a little bit salty on her podcast, so I was kind of glad I didn't have some of that tape, because if I'm not mistaken, I think she did. So I'm glad we didn't make that mistake without doing a quick check on that. But nonetheless, you know, I joked around with Mark Cox in the morning about, you know, Sydney Sweeney being hot, right? And over the years, over the Biden years, I said, can a guy even call a good-looking woman anymore, right? With everything going on, with all this woke nonsense, all this garbage. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what Megyn Kelly was talking about when it comes to the sororities and Sydney Sweeney. American women are embracing themselves again and taking advantage of what they're capable of doing without being shot down, metaphorically speaking, by the woke mob, Ryan. It's so refreshing. That's the way you closed out the last segment. I'll give you the last word, and then we'll move on to the Brady campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great segue into what we're going to talk about on Brady. Look, after Parkland, I learned that I learned the hard way that they tried to cancel me. I ran for school board, as you know, Mark. They found out that I was pro Second Amendment, anti fundamental transformation of America. And they came after me hard. The media did. And I had a choice to make. I had to decide, do I cave to the mob, or do I stand on principle and go for what I know to be right and what I believe in? And that was when I made that choice. And I see so many Americans, and it's so refreshing to see the younger generation doing the same thing. That's why I'm so excited. animated about what you said, because the only way you defeat the left and the cancel culture is to stand strong. And we need to support those that are willing to stand up and say, this is garbage and we're done with it. We're going to live our lives. We're going to do what we know is right. And we're going to stand for the American principles that made this country great.
You throat punch them right back, because that's what they've been given to you. And again, make no mistake, if they won the election in November, folks, they'd have put their boot on your neck. Would have been ugly. Thankfully, we're not there. You know, it's easy for you and I to say things like that. Like, you know, you had a choice. A lot of these college girls and college kids did not, because they're worried about threats to their grades or whether or not they're going to even be admitted, right? Not anymore. They are back with a vengeance, and I love it. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen any of it, go out and spread the word if you're on social media. Like them and share them, and help them defeat that woke mob. Brady campaign, show gun safety, promoting gun safety in TV and film. Now, this is a very telling subhead here, Ryan. Cultural attitudes and behaviors around smoking, drunk driving, and seatbelts have evolved due in large part to the influence of TV and film. We're taking on gun safety. I don't recall, let's see, let me read the 27 words. A well-regulated, healthy lung being necessary to the security of a free man or woman, the right of the people to smoke and own lighters shall not be. I don't recall seeing smoking in the Constitution. I don't recall seeing drunk driving. I don't recall seeing seat belts. So they make this comparison. Here we go again, Ryan. They're rehashing an argument that is so old and tired, but is it a tried and true one that works for them? Let's go there.
Well, you know, if it didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it. And so, yes, it does work. And it works on a certain portion of the population that doesn't understand or isn't fundamentally rooted or grounded in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's a lot of Americans, unfortunately, as we know. You know, at least half the country votes, you know, for a party that has absolute disdain for America, as we've been discussing, and disdain for the Constitution, and disdain for this idea of a constitutional republic and a constitutionally limited government. That's anathema to the left. And so they count on the folks in the middle that weren't paying attention in civics, that weren't listening in history, don't understand the gift that the founders gave us. And that's exactly who this kind of garbage from Brady, that's who they're targeting. They want to get to that sympathetic look. It's the blue hairs in the suburbs. It's the white suburban women that have been delivering wins for Democrats in these blue states for decades now. It's an argument that tugs at the heartstrings of a lot of people, and unfortunately, very few people sit back and go, let's think critically about this. What's wrong with the analogy between seatbelts and a constitutionally protected amendment? Is Brady willing to put out a similar campaign saying, you know, at the time of the founding, we needed the First Amendment, but now we really don't. We really should put some airbags and some seatbelts and some guardrails around, you know, let's put it around our free speech. Let's be like England, where you say the wrong thing in England, you're now inciting the mob, and you're now subject to police action for expressing an opinion or a viewpoint. That's where the left wants to take us. It's first about the guns. The Second Amendment is in the way of their march towards decimating the Bill of Rights. As long as we protect the Second Amendment, we can protect the other constitutionally protected rights. But that's what they're going for, Mark. That's the game plan. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and let me use this as we go to the break. Don't think for 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, that the Democrats wouldn't love to disarm America before they began their gerrymandering. They'd love to have you disarmed before they start that, because you're a threat, which is exactly why the Second Amendment was written. When we come back, I'm going to read you some more from the Brady campaign. It's infuriating, to be honest with you. But as Ryan says, it works with a certain segment of society. That's why we're here to talk about it. One more segment with Ryan. Don't go away. Be right back. All up. This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back. Indeed, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, life is full of mysteries. You know, we all have individual mysteries in our lives. Like, I could never understand how my buddy Rick Rock, who sadly passed away, made his crab cakes. And I had his recipe, and I could never duplicate it. And when he passed away, I just accepted the fact that, I had his recipe, and I was, privileged and honored to be able to eat those things when he was alive on earth. Grandma's cherry pie, same thing. Then there are bigger mysteries in life: faith, the universe. And there's one other mystery that I will never figure out. And I really am, I can't figure this out. If you have made a decision to carry a firearm, it is a mystery to me why you would not have an attorney in your hip pocket when it is only $35 a month, and we can save you $50 off the $100 sign-up fee to get started. To me, that's a mystery. You've already decided to be a responsibly armed American for one reason: because you understand that evil is real. Maybe two, because you also understand that that evil can and will attack you when it wants to, and it will unfold in a split second. If you are forced to draw, and I know that from personal experience because it happened to me. Thank God I didn't have to pull the trigger, but I would have if they didn't stop their activity towards me. Thank God. But I didn't have to. And I say thank God because I didn't have this available to me at the time. That was back in 2002. It's available to me now, and if you're watching on your screens, I'm holding up my Attorneys on Retainer card. And the Attorneys on Retainer is part of the Attorneys for Freedom law firm out of Chandler, Arizona. They do one thing and one thing only: self-defense law, period. For 1 year, $35 a month for an individual membership at $50 off the sign-up fee. If you add up 35 times 12, it is less than 1 hour's fee for a great attorney. And you've got full coverage. I've not done this yet on the show, but I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to read you the back of the card. If human life is in danger, 911 should be called immediately. Call the emergency hotline at, and the number is given to you. Do not, highlighted, make any further statements to the 911 operator, any responding officers, or anyone else. Ask to have your attorney present during any questioning and to privately call your attorney now. They're your lawyer immediately, the moment all the paperwork is signed. You already understand that you might have to do that to defend yourself. Because yes, it can happen to you, no matter where you live. And if it does, you don't want to be without this. So it's a great mystery to me why anyone would not have this if they carried a gun. It is so easy to do. It's one of the most important things that you can do. There will be an investigation if you have to draw your firearm. Even if you don't fire it, likely there'll be an investigation, because that can be an aggravated assault charge. Likely could be. It will be investigated. And in some states, an aggravated assault charge without firing the weapon, discharging it, it can be up to 20 years in the slammer with no parole. Georgia, 20. Florida, 3. And I could go on and on and on. If you have to discharge that firearm, there is a likelihood that you could be charged with a crime. That is not the time you want to be seeking an attorney or be using a free one. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to smack yourself in the head and say, man, I heard him talking about that. Why didn't I do it? That's a mystery to me. That's one of life's great mysteries. If you carry a firearm, why wouldn't you have this? It's the best $35 a month you can spend. We make it easy for you to do it. For all of the protection of the legal firm, no additional fees, nothing over and above the 35, expert witnesses, whatever is required is included in your $35 a month fee for your attorney. You can't get an attorney anywhere in the country at an hourly rate of that. In fact, you can't get an attorney for an hourly rate of this times the 12 months if you total it up over the year. It is absolute no-brainer. Attorneysonretainer.us, attorneysonretainer.us/AAR, and take advantage of this incredible opportunity and support this organization, because they will be there for you on what will be the worst day of your life, especially if you don't have a law firm in your hip pocket. Please don't be that person, okay? We've made it so easy for you. attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. Take advantage of that. And you can find them. You can just click on it on my website at armedamericanradio.com or .org, and you can find all of our other great partners over there as well. Bud's Gun Shop, Heaven's Harvest, Emerson Knives, Crossbreed Holsters, Car Arms, CZ. This is the CZ Studios. They'll be on the show in the next couple of weeks, introducing some great new products over at CZ. They're all available for you at armedamericanradio.com. But this, folks, absolute no-brainer. Ryan Petty, welcome back. You have your card, don't you, Ryan?
I do. And, I could sum up everything you just said with, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it really is. You've got to have protection. I feel better than I ever have. I've had concealed carry protection for a number of years, but I've never felt as covered and protected as I do with Attorneys on Retainer. Fantastic, fantastic product.
Find yourself in an altercation somewhere, ladies and gentlemen, and have to use that firearm. I don't care if it's somebody attempting to carjack you or rob you in a parking lot at a Publix grocery store, a Kroger, wherever you shop. One phone call, and your attorneys are on it. They handle everything from the investigation through whatever may happen going forward, which, by the way, is likely not to happen because you have an attorney that's helping you through the investigation, which, by the way, you are not entitled to be provided an attorney during an investigation. You have to retain your own counsel. Do we want to talk about how much that costs, Ryan? Hundreds of thousands of dollars if this goes the distance. $35 a month. Less than 1 hour of a great attorney's fee for a year's worth of coverage, and includes all the expense. It is an absolute no-brainer. Please, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of this fantastic opportunity to be covered and sleep better at night. All right, Ryan, back to the Brady campaign. Take a listen to this. Guns are prominently featured in TV and movies in every corner of the globe, but only America has a gun violence epidemic. Oh, heavens. Here we go again. You know, I happen to have numbers in front of me. Mexico, victims of violence going back into 2023, homicide by gun, 22,355. United States, 15,186. This does not include suicides. Ecuador, 7108. Honduras, 2464. Jamaica, 1189. And then it goes on down. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Sounds like the U.S. is number 2. They're not, because the U.S. is a hell of a lot bigger than these other countries like Ecuador. And when you put this per capita, the U.S. isn't even in the top 10. Why can't they just tell the truth? Another one of life's great mysteries, Ryan. But I'm glad they don't, because we're here. That's why we exist. Take that away.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I mentioned this before. I wrote an article for the Federalist a little while ago because I'm so sick and tired of the gun control movement talking about America's unique gun violence problem and whatever, right? And so what they do, it's a sleight of hand that they pull every single time. They talk about, they get you thinking about mass shootings, and then they generalize it with this term gun violence. And that's so they can pull in all of the blue state, blue city gang violence that is out there. And it's an attempt to make you think there's a problem with America. There's nothing wrong with America. America is coming back and getting stronger, and it is doing so because of our constitutionally protected rights.
And a great president who is making America great again. And if you want to know that's true, simply look at the reaction from the liberal, Marxist, communist left going absolutely bonkers. It is so fun to watch. Trump is just crushing them at every twist and turn. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Ryan, thank you for being here. Boy, this hour flew right by. It always does. But we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. Please visit all of our partners. Join the National Rifle Association. Buy something from every one of them. Get yourself an attorney, and we'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
And there it is. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate it very much on a garbage day. Always fun to talk with Ryan Petty and catch up with him. As I said, we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. Yeah, I went a little bit longer than I wanted to in that segment, but I just can't help myself, folks. I am adamant about that. If you carry a gun, please get this. There are two things you need to do. You need to join the NRA. You've got to be a member. You've got to help us fight. And the other organizations as well. Second Amendment Foundation, of course, all of them. Wonderful. The National Rifle Association is now working its way back to the 900-pound gorilla, up from the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And we can't do it without you. So please support them and get yourself an attorney. Attorneysonretainer.us. /AAR, attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. And don't forget, of course, the National Rifle Association, NRA.org/AAR. Join. Get the free stuff that we're giving you and enjoy that. That takes over the cost of the membership right there. And we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow. Stay safe. You know the routine. Carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever been caught outside his cave without his club. Enjoy what's left of your day. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for being here.